Hey guys, I hope you can hear. So let me just confirm with the guys that that's the case. I wouldn't want to do the whole AMA and then realize the microphone wasn't working. Okay, I think it's showing here that it works. How's everyone doing? So guys, I will be monitoring the chat or Telegram chat as well. I have a document with all the questions here, but also if you guys want to ask me something in the chat while I'm doing this, then let's do this. Wait. Did Spencer post a link in the chat? Whew, there we go. He's working fast. Spencer, thank you so much for organizing all of this. Yeah, first and foremost, I would like to thank Spencer for organizing all these AMAs all the time, collecting answers and talking to you guys in Telegram chat, and just he's an overall an awesome person, and I enjoy working with you, Spencer. I hope everyone is safe. I hope no one is sick, and that's not just about Spencer, but about all of you guys. Hope everything's going well. And let's get to this amazing AMA that we have. Let me see, 21 question. Pretty good track record, guys. Exactly. I'm reading comments here. Guys, thank you so much for your support. First of all, I say it every time, and it is because of you that we're able to work on this project and to try to change the world, to try to change the travel industry. It's your support, it's our crazy ideas that will finally overcome all the obstacles in the travel industry. And we have so many people. Just a few minutes ago, actually, I had a call with another person from the travel industry who is saying, I've been following you guys since the beginning. I love your project. Absolutely, travel industry needs to change. They're doing something along the same lines as well, educating people about technology, educating people about blockchains and all those things in order to show people that today's way is not the only way of doing transactions in the travel space. It can change, it will change, it's inevitable, it will take some time, it will take some effort, it will take some education on the part of travel executives and generally people in travel. But we will be there. So again, thank you guys for your support. Thank you for all one of the questions here is about Telegram chat, so I guess I'll get to it. But yeah, thank you so much. Last week, we joined one of the working groups at Decentralized Identity Foundation that one of our advisors, Douglas Rice, has started. Douglas Rice is the founder of HTNG. It's an organization for hospitality and hotels. It stands for Hotel Technology New Generation. So he's been a founder of that, and I guess he was on board since the beginning. It's been, 10 years or something like that. And now he started this group for self-sovereign identity. And if you don't know, of course, Organ ID is self-sovereign identity, but for organizations, for companies, for nonprofits, for all sorts of organizations. That's why it's called Org ID and not Corp ID. So we just joined that working group. A ton of really interesting people there, people from the travel space that are finally realizing that all of those crazy technologies, and I think maybe the NFT boom helped a little bit here, but people are realizing that this is for real, NFT craze, millions of dollars being spent, all sorts of nonsense. Guys, comment in the chat if you have any NFTs, and if you're dabbling in that. I'm really curious. But yeah, very interesting working group, and we're going to be having weekly calls with them. And the interesting part, the crazy part, the amazing part is that we already have a working solution for self-sovereign identity for companies. So we're going to be talking to them about that, about all of our ideas. I'm going to tease something super cool as well. By the end of this month, we will be releasing something amazing that we're working on with some designers, some developers, some people from from the travel space. I still want to keep it kind of surprise what that's going to be, but it's going to be about our next steps of Winding Tree, what we need to do, what we need to do next, because the original white paper was talking about the decentralized marketplace. We created that technology for that. As you know, it is working. It could be better. The software or art is never done. You can continue working on that for years, for decades. But yeah, this is where I'm going to stop. And you will see what's up by the end of this month. I guess at the next AMA we can talk a little bit in more detail. So guys, and I've been teasing the other project that we're working on with one of those big companies, blah, blah, blah. And still under construction, really. I mean, we're trying, pushing. I think it's going in the right direction. We will be there soon, hopefully. All right. So a few other comments that I have to make here. I have a few notes over here. Is that in terms of so as you know, we have a few different projects. One of those was a crypto event that we discussed and talked about. Some of you have figured it out, of course. I mean, how could we hide it? As you know, they rescheduled the date. We're still hoping that we will continue our collaboration with them when they actually decide on the date. But yeah, also very exciting. All right, let's get to the questions. Yeah? No one? Anything? Any other comments I need to make? The chat, the YouTube chat? All right, let's do this. So the first question is from Senan, and I apologize, guys, for mispronouncing your name sometimes, but Alexander, I'm gonna get back to you on this one, okay? So from Senan, the question is, how do you plan to allocate your time over the coming year in regards to your projects on and off the table? Seems like the Orga bot is nearly completed, which leads to the question, which projects are coming up next? Glider is on pause, it was mentioned. Yeah, absolutely. So basically the question is, what's our project plan? So we have a few different projects. So we have the core, we have the org ID, which again, go on GitHub, check it out. It has a few different components. So org ID have a few things that we have to work on, like the sandbox environment, so people can start experimenting with that. There's a little bit of technical debt there. Another question here is for org ID. This is something that I'm envisioning is we need to work with a layer 2 solution. I don't know what that's going to be, whether it's going to be optimistic rollup, zero knowledge rollup, or something like that. But $200 in terms of Ethereum miner fees for creating an identity, that's just a little bit too much. So that's something that we definitely need to fix. We have a plan on fixing that as well. Then on top of that, we have the marketplace. With the marketplace, something that we need to fix is the actual user interface. We need to make sure that it's engaging, that user will keep coming to it. As you know, the feature of the marketplace that's called directories is not quite complete yet. We need to finish that. We have Rooms as a project, we have Glider as a project, we have Org ID Bot, and we have a solid plan how to move through, and we have all of those other engagements with some working groups, and we have quite a few things that we need to work on. Yeah, Alexander, yes, there is the possibility of verifying influencers through the bot. So yeah, we have a good plan how to go through all of these projects, and something that we're changing, I guess, this time is we will try to concentrate on one project at a time, and we will be hiring probably a few more people to tackle a few things simultaneously. So we need to figure out the problem of resources. So guys, if you have, if one of you is maybe a smart contract developer who has experience with Solidity and maybe layer 2 solutions, I'd love to talk to you. I would love to talk to a senior person, maybe even like the CTO level or something like that. I would love to talk to someone who could be an evangelist of Org ID solution for us, theoretically. Yeah, talk to me, guys, if you're interested in working with us. We have a lot of stuff to do this year, and we don't have enough hands to do all of that. So we'll be hiring a few more people. There's a question from Max. Which crypto companies are using or want to use the Org ID bot? So we are rolling it out right now to a few communities. They already created about 4 different communities, created their Org ID profiles. And well, that question is kind of, we're a decentralized marketplace. So if you're interested what kind of companies are using the Org ID bot, just go to marketplace.windingtree.com. You will see all the companies that are using the bot. They're there. Those companies will have a field of authorized representatives listed on their profile. So yeah, go check it out. Do it now. Come on. So the next question from Danny. Which projects are you working on the most, and what purpose will Glider have for Winding Tree? So the projects I mentioned right now, the most important project out of all of this is the Org ID, is the actual identity solution, because everything else built on top of that. The purpose that Glider has for Winding Tree is the following. So Winding Tree is a decentralized marketplace where today, again, I was talking to this person from the travel industry that I mentioned to you, and the analogy I was making is, and she's on the same page. She's saying you don't have to have in the travel industry all of these layers of companies that right now, in this very complicated time, are saying that they're going to charge not travel companies, but companies from the travel space that they provide the connectivity to even more money than before, which is absolute craziness. How could this be happening? So, and to her, I kind of created on the spot this analogy of it should just work as your farmer's market, where all the buyers and all the sellers should be able to talk to each other without a person in the middle, right? So you go to a marketplace, to your farmer's market, and yeah, you go to and talk to a person who sells apples, and then you talk to a person who sells lettuce, and then you make a salad. It is a crazy salad, lettuce and apples, but nonetheless, should work the same way in the travel industry. Take a hotel, take an airline ticket, take an insurance, product, combine it all together into this salad, and then sell it to the end user. It should work like this right now. Absolutely not like that. And that's what we're fixing here. So Winding Trees is this virtual real estate, right? Where all of these people, they come to this virtual piece of real estate, but At the entrance, they're handed a unique number that they will be recognized by, right? So that unique number is their org ID, is their actual identity of these companies. So yeah, that's how it works. But now, how do we teach people how to use this marketplace? Because again, we sometimes would talk to people from the travel industry and we're telling them, hey, this is a decentralized marketplace. What is decentralized? We're saying, well, what's based on an Ethereum smart contract. On smart what? There's a lot of misunderstanding. There's people have some preconceived notions about what blockchains are, so we have to educate people a lot about these things. So, but we thought for the new generation of companies that will be doing, selling and buying, we could provide examples on top of Winding Tree, on top of the Orgid technology, how those things could be done. So Rooms and Glider, Rooms is on one side of the marketplace, Glider is on the other side of the marketplace. So Rooms is an open source project for hotels, which is basically a primer. We're giving it to them and we're saying, you can take this and your hotel, your inventory will be automatically available on the Winding Tree marketplace, right? Or through the Winding Tree marketplace. And what is an example of how it will be available through the Winding Tree marketplace? Well, that's Glider, right? That's on this side, which is also an open source primer, but not for the supplier side, but for the seller side, for the demand side, for travel agencies, where we're showing them, hey, we don't have to explain to you how it works. Just take Glider. It's an open source product. And through Glider, you can source the inventory from hotels that use Rooms, for example, as an example of at least one provider, right? Through that, the connection in the middle, imagine the actual Winding Tree marketplace and the org ID and the smart contracts and all of that, right? So through Glider, through Rooms, and through the Winding Tree marketplace, we're kind of completing the loop here. You see what I'm saying? So that's what Glider, what Glider purpose is, and Rooms is following the same logic and following the same purpose of just completing the loop. So now, for hotels, for example, we have a complete set of products, not just for the whole marketplace, for hospitality, for example, right? So we have a complete suite of products that the hospitality industry can take and use and run with it. Thank you for saying that, Spencer. Yes, authorized representatives are not shown on the public profile and marketplace organization profile. Yeah, so yeah, sorry about that detail. But still, take a look at the companies that have created their profiles recently. There are a few, so those companies are using the marketplace. Okay, Alex, thank you for this. From Paul, there's a question from Paul. Are the major NDC aggregator companies open to sharing inventory with Winding Tree? Do you already have contact with other large aggregators? AITA, I think it was meant. Amadeus. Will there ever be a Winding Tree OTA available? A few questions here. We do have a list of potential NDC aggregators that could give their inventory through the Winding Tree marketplace. They're still intermediaries in a sense. One of our approaches would be probably to talk to these NDC aggregators, and we know some of them. We even love some of them because they're doing such a good job. Our approach is slightly different probably here because through Glider, as you know, we have two GitHub repositories. One is Glider frontend, which is the actual travel agency, and then there's Glider backend, which is actually an open source, first in the travel industry, open source tool for normalizing different APIs from travel companies. And there are already, I believe, couple different NDC formats there that are normalized for consumption by front-end tools for for travel agencies such as Glider. So I think that should be a community effort from the travel industry where we take all of those different crazy formats and there's just a simple open source tool that everyone can work on, add their standard to and stuff like that. And that all the other people can easily use instead of using a specialized service that charges them sometimes an arm and a leg for simply normalizing different APIs into one stream. All right, that's not the only role that they're doing there. Through them, they basically negotiate some sort of contract, I guess, with different airlines and stuff like that. So when you join an aggregator like that, you will get access to multiple different airlines, not just one. Very valuable as well. But why can't we go direct? This is another layer here that we have to ask ourselves, do we need this? And the answer right now is yes, absolutely, because travel agencies cannot go directly to airlines. Some airlines don't have the capacity to verify each and every airline, to authorize them to connect to their APIs. But that's precisely what OrgID technology is solving here, right? We're saying you don't have to be authorized individually by each and every airline. Create your profile once, get verified with one, maybe a couple of airlines, and the rest should be able to say, okay, you are working with American Airlines. You're good to work with us as well. Why not? If you're good to work with them. So Amadeus, if you take a look at our Glider backend repository, you will see Amadeus integration there as well. So we do have access to Amadeus. Again, just an example. This is a primer. And there's another question of our plans to be a winding tree online travel agency. And the answer is no. As of now, we don't have a plan to build a travel agency. Why? Because anyone who is building an OTA right now will be competing with Booking, with all of those other people, and it's a very specific job. We're building technology, and we're not planning to be a front end for this. But again, we're providing a technology that would allow people to build those front ends easily. And compete with those big companies much, much faster for a much smaller price, right? So we are increasing the competition in this environment here. Another question from Paul, is Atypico working with Winding Tree still? I'm not quite sure what you're referring to. We had some conversations with them. They are an interesting organization, but the answer is no. From Paul, are there plans in the future to make an improvement for the world? Paul, come on, this is the third question. Are there plans in the future to make an improvement for the world? Miles, planting trees, fees from big airlines. So basically, Paul, are you talking about some sort of ecological play here where we say, oh, for every transaction on the Winding Tree marketplace, we will plant a tree or something like that? So as you know, Winding Tree is basically a nonprofit, right? So we're creating this connectivity tissue for the travel industry, but we're not taking any transaction fees or anything like that. So right now, when users create their identities on the Winding Tree marketplace, we don't charge anyone anything. And in the future, our plan is to build other products maybe on top of this. But this layer, this connectivity layer, will always stay open source, will always stay open, will always stay free. So right now, we're not in a position to, distribute any of the revenues because there are no revenues here. By design, if there were any revenues, then we would be the intermediary and this whole project would be a moot point, right? But in the future, Absolutely. I love the nature. I love animals. I love trees and bees and whales and snails. So I would love to do that. When we have a chance to do that, we'll absolutely do it. We'll be planting trees, planting all sorts of other things. Yeah, just tell me what you want to be planted and we'll talk about it. Next question is from Michael. Will our friends in the US be able to legally use any new exchanges without using a VPN? Guys, talk to your congressmen and women. It's not up to us. Can you use Uniswap from the US? I believe so. I mean, that's a decentralized exchange. They should not be able to stop you from using that. And our plan in the future is probably to work only with decentralized exchanges because, I mean, that mess with EDX is just crazy. I mean, you heard the story, right? So they're saying, oh, we're a decentralized exchange. By the way, we're doing this to you. Why? Well, because we can. So they're not really a decentralized exchange, and then they're asking us for more money and all of this craziness. Steve, I'm going to answer that maybe at the end of the questions. Just reading comments over here. Michael, I hope so. I hope you will be able to use other exchanges where Leaf is going to be listed. There's a lot of development going towards Leaf right now and towards the usage of it, as you see with Work IT Bot if you follow the Telegram channel. So absolutely. Dumbledore is asking, do you ever get fed up and annoyed with the Telegram chat? No. No. And the reason for that is we have such an amazing community. Sometimes it's mostly kind of new people, I guess, who just heard about the project and they join the channel and they say, I don't know, as a joke or something, like, when Moon, I'm fine with that. They can do anything and everything. I guess you guys are annoyed by those questions. And I've heard a few heated debates about like, dude, just do your research and stop asking stupid stuff. Let's be open. Let's be open to conversation. Let's be open to constructive criticism, to feedback. It's absolutely vital for us to have such a diverse and interesting community that we have in the Telegram chat and in terms of our supporters in general. So again, everything is happening because of you guys. Thank you so much. From Dan with 2 A's. Are you planning to participate in some travel or crypto events this year? If they're physically open, I would love to do that. Still have our considerations about that. We'll see. I don't know. There will be some virtual ones as well. We're talking to a few events. And we will be there. There is an event that's coming in Paris, ETHCC, and I think I'm approved to speak there, actually. So hopefully that's going to be happening. Come to Paris, guys. ETHCC.io, I believe. ETHCC stands Ethereum Community Conference. The next question is from Jake. I noticed a new dev being added to your GitHub. What's his task or focus, and could you elaborate on focus of the rest of the dev team? Good question. This is just an account that we added for one of our developers. So basically that's the same person, and just some technical mumbo jumbo that I'm not going to go into. The focus of the rest of the dev team. Well, I touched upon the projects a little bit, right? So, and maybe the most important question here is whether we have enough hands to work on the stuff that we have. And as I mentioned, not really. We need more talented developers and designers and project managers. So if you know someone who's amazing and who wants to work on changing the world, let's do it. Please send an email to me or a Telegram chat or something like that. My email is max@windingtree.com. I do receive questions all the time after we do AMAs. and I try to answer each and every email. So yeah, talk to me. Next question from Seb. Did you generate revenue so far this year, previous year? So Seb, Winding Tree is a non-profit organization. We created this technology with the purpose of it being the most accessible technology for connectivity for travel companies, but then of course it's available to any other company as well. So not right now. Our plans are to build products on top of this open source layer that we have right now, that we have developed, that we have to solidify, we have to promote. So after that, we will be talking about revenues. How long can you last at current development speed in terms of money? 2 years. Around 2 years. Zygam is asking, Uniswap high gas fee is increasing day by day. Smallholders and traders can't afford such high gas fees on each transaction. Is there a plan for LIF to be listed on a centralized exchange? Uobit has poor liquidity. I don't see how on centralized exchanges that would be improved. I mean, unless you hold those tokens on centralized exchanges, I guess they could decrease the transaction, but they will, I don't know, introduce their own fees. I don't think that in terms of fees, centralized exchanges will be much, much better. I was sending DAI the other day, and the fees on the Ethereum network, the fee was pretty high as well. So it's not a unique problem for LIF. We have to do something about this. Hopefully Ethereum folks are going to finally release the sharding improvement and all those other things hopefully soon. But from what I see in the community, in the Ethereum community, everyone's trying to move to some sort of layer 2 solution. So we're looking to Optimism, we're looking to ZK Sync, all those things. So that's going to be a big change, of course. We will have to move LIF onto an L2 network and have to discuss that. There is no solid plan for that yet, but we see that it's a pain. And I mentioned that again, for high transaction fees, not just for LIF transactions, not just for trading, but for working with any smart contract on the Ethereum blockchain right now. Xander Sharp is asking, very technical question. Will the implementation of EIP 1559 cause any issues for the LIF coin? I'm not sure. I'm not that technical, Xander, that EIP 1559 will necessarily mean that we will need to convert LIF to some another format that is not ERC20, because that's going to be a major issue for the whole Ethereum community. I mean, how many ERC20 tokens are out there? Correct me if I'm wrong, but as far as I understand, EIP 1559 is about miners' fees and all of that. Some, disincentivizing miners in terms of playing with transaction fees and all that. How would that affect an ERC20 token? I'm not quite sure. So please elucidate me again. This is a very technical question, and perhaps one of our developers will be able to answer that in Slack right now. So we'll see. If they do, we'll figure it out. Trey Thomas. It's been 3 years since you launched. How has the competitive landscape changed? Has there been new decentralized solutions entering the market that motivates you to accelerate the development of your project? There were a few projects in the very beginning that they were saying that they're decentralized and all of that. At the same time, they're charging, a fee of $100 or something for project for let's say hotels to list their inventory, which were like, that's the opposite of decentralized. What's happening here? Why are you saying those things? I had a few interesting conversations with people from those projects. If you remember, it's very funny. It's very amusing. But since then, the only developments that I see is in the area of self-sovereign identity, which I don't see them as competitive. I see us working together on basically the same solution, right? So, and that's why we're joining all those different working groups. I don't see any decentralized exchanges or anything like that, decentralized, marketplaces. If you are aware of some of the projects that are entering the trial space, or not necessarily trial space, but in general, that are working on solving the problem of truly a peer-to-peer marketplace that would not be dominated by one single entity, please comment in Telegram chat or anywhere, because I'm really interested. If there are projects like that, I would love to work with them. And the beauty of this here, if I see a project like that, I would like to join forces with them. It will be detrimental, and it simply wouldn't work if a project like that would be owned by a single entity, by a single company, because the incentive in our society right now is, if you are a for-profit company, you have to simply make money. So there is a very, very strong incentive for those companies to start introducing fees, to start locking people in, to start doing all sorts of crazy things simply for the purpose of extracting money, extracting rent. That's the Silicon Valley philosophy that's perpetrated by, I don't know, people like Peter Thiel, who's saying, I want your company to be a monopoly. If you don't have a potential to be a monopoly, I don't want to invest into you, right? Which, in the context of the capitalistic operating system that we have right now, makes sense. If you want to make money, that's exactly what you need to do. But if you truly want to help the world, that's not the way to do that. The way to help the world is like the internet. Here's a piece of, a protocol, a piece of software that's completely open source, available to everyone. And only those open protocols are truly game changers. I mean, think about the internet, open protocol, think about blockchain, open protocol, think about computer itself that was almost patented. There were two guys actually from IBM back in, 40s or something like that. They were trying to patent the computer. Imagine what would have happened if they did, if it was a commercial kind of endeavor, but they couldn't. So now we're able to use computers. There's not a guy who is going to say, oh, I invented the computer. No, it was a collective endeavor. So I want to keep winding tree like that. And I would love to work with any projects that have the same philosophy in the future. Tell me if you know any. From Stefan, how's the hiring process for your CTO role going? We do need a person who would be able to make very high-level architectural decisions in our company. It's not going too great, to be honest. We don't have a lot of people. We don't have enough conversations with people who would be able to do that. If you know someone, I would love to talk to them. Really, and people who would be aligned with our vision, of course. Kevin is asking, how is the progress of the Org ID bot, and what do you plan with the PR launch? Well, if we told you about our PR and marketing plans, that's kind of, would spoil everything, no? So you will see in terms of PR what's going to be happening. There will be articles, there will be, educational videos and stuff like that. You will see. I mean, there is a plan. Org ID bot is a super cool thing. Have you used it? Kevin, go ahead, create an identity for your organization, and I'd love your feedback. Tell me what needs to be fixed there, okay? From John, what is the current allocation of LIFT tokens held by the Winding Tree organization? That hasn't changed since the very beginning. I think, I don't even remember the number because it's been so many years. It's about 20% that we kept. That's it. Didn't change since then. Steven is asking, how do you want to change the website? Axel wrote about the new user interface, etc. By the way, he's a nice and caring guy. Alex, kudos to you. I know. I've worked with Axel. His name is Alex. Alex. So I'm kind of using both names most times. So I worked with the guy since 2015. So it's been 6 years now. He's a great guy. I love him too. Thank you, Alex. How do you want to change the website? How can we pitch Winding Tree to the travel industry in terms that will be instantly understood by anyone by a child who is maybe 10 or 12? Right now, the problem is we're talking about, and again, I mentioned that today already. So you say the word decentralized, or you say the word smart contracts, or you say some of those other things, which instantly make people confused, especially people who don't really understand technology. They don't want to understand technology. That's not their job. They think their job is it's to put customers into beds of my hotel. That's my job. How do you help me with that, Winding Tree? So that's how we need to change the website, to explain these things in a very, very clear way. And we are working with our advisors. We're working with some marketing people. We're working with just internally discussing all of those things, and still haven't arrived at the right. The right ingredients, at the right model of how to show that. If you have any ideas, you have the Telegram chat, you have the YouTube chat, you have my email. It's max@windingtree.com. So send me ideas. I'd really love to hear you out. So the nice guy Axel will be working on the marketing part of this, on changing the website. And the new user interface is also very important. It has to be more engaging. It has to retain users more. We have to maybe add more features onto the marketplace so that people keep coming. Right now, the problem is people create an identity once, and they don't really have an incentive to come back and maybe, check for something, use the website all the time. So that's something that we need to work on. Axel is saying, see the vision for the website. It's just not as simple and quick as you might think. It's all in the plans. We just focus on the other projects right now. So website is one of the projects for sure, in that list of projects that I gave you earlier. Erhan is saying that we have said that prices will be cheaper than other companies on Glider, but when I look at the prices on Booking.com, I saw their prices are cheaper. So what is the reason, and how do you plan to correct it? This is such a great comment. And internally, we said that multiple times, like, what the heck? And well, the problem is we talk to a travel company, be it a hotel, be it some other company, an airline or something, right? And we're saying, okay, so now you can promote your inventory through this Winding Tree marketplace. It's a decentralized marketplace. And they're saying, great, okay, let's do that. So they put the price there. We'll look at it and we say, but why is your price, why this price that you gave us is more than what you have on Booking.com? Oh, it's our pricing. So at the end of the day, it's their decision. We cannot influence that. We're not a centralized aggregator that is able to say something like, no, you cannot do that. Like, we have to have price parity. So at the end of the day, it's their decision. And I think maybe it has to do with, the chicken and the egg problem with this, of our marketplace. Perhaps they don't have enough demand on the Winding Tree marketplace, so maybe they think that they can get away with a slightly higher price. So yeah, there could be multiple reasons for this. But actually, one of the biggest reasons is probably the price parity agreements that those organizations have with Booking.com. Because when you enter the Booking.com ecosystem, they say you cannot list a cheaper price on other channels. Which right now the travel industry, read about it. Just Google price parity travel. And you will see a lot of companies are talking about that, how it's anti-competitive in Europe. I think those organizations are facing all sorts of, they're challenged legally by the EU, I don't know, commission or something like that, that are cracking down on these guys. And they're saying, no, you cannot do that. I believe in most of Europe, price parity is sort of illegal and it's not in the contract, but at the same time, while it's not in the contract, Booking.com or other centralized market makers, they can do all sorts of crazy things to you. Basically, they can just delist you for no reason at all. They don't have to explain anything to you. And the next question, and that's the last question, unless we have something in Telegram chat with them, which I'm going to check in a second. Will you update a new roadmaps? Things the Telegram channel is growing day by day. Do you think the admin can get some help? I don't know. Spencer, do you need help? Maybe. And in terms of the new roadmap, we will update. We will update it very, very soon, much sooner than you think. So that will be released in the next couple of weeks. So check back. You will get an update on the new roadmap, lots and lots of other things. And let me know if you think our Telegram chat admin needs help. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. We'll see it. All right, going to Telegram chat. I see a lot of updates. User passed the validation. Good job. Good for you, user. I love the comment, Master X. Absolutely, we'll have to do that. We would bring a travel expert or something like that, one of our advisors, and have a conversation. Would be awesome. It doesn't have to be a studio environment because, I mean, the whole space, all the business is remote today, and our advisors in San Francisco, travel is hard, for example. In San Francisco, they're all over the place, actually. What I would love to do it a conversational style, and if it's possible, and when people who are traveling have their vaccination completed, yeah, we'll do a physical conversation, of course, when we have the possibility to do so. All right, thank you. Send it. Yeah, so guys, if you're such experts on Ethereum impermanent proposals, can you explain a little bit better the implications of EIP 1559 on ERC20 tokens? Which, again, as far as I know, I'm fairly technical, I'm a software developer, but I don't know how it's going to affect the ERC20 tokens. What are the implications here? I'm not quite sure. These are all the questions for now. So unless someone wants to put the next one and the final question into the comment section of this YouTube interface right now, then we're going to be done. Thank you guys for everything. Thank you for your support. I hope this was helpful. I hope I answered at least some of our questions. And if not, let me know. We will re-ask them next time in about a month. Telegram. All right. Thank you guys so much. Thank you for your time. Leave the comments if you're watching this after the fact, after the actual AMA. If you're watching it offline, please do leave comments. We try to react to those as well. But other than that, join our Telegram chat. It's Winding Tree. Just go to Telegram, type Winding Tree. It should have all the right admins there. You could use org-id bot to verify which community is that. Thank you, Steve. I'm going to grow out a bigger one. Just wanted a new beard. But also, send me an email at max@windingtree.com. Ask me any questions as well. I do appreciate all the feedback I receive, and I try to answer all the emails that I receive. What else? Keep in touch. Thank you. Have a great day.